Hello, everybody. My name is Gage Johnson.
And my name's Miguel Rios.
And this is Tea and Theories.
Today we'll be getting a little bit of an inside scoop on some people and students and participants of the Undergraduate Research Conference, so we are so glad that you're here today.
That's right, Miguel. We are going to have not one, but two student participants in the USF Undergraduate Research Conference, Sophia McGreggor and Madelyn Chandler.
Yep, so stay tuned.
Then a little voice inside you whispers, don't sell your dreams so soon. Everywhere.
Hello, welcome back everybody. I'm here with Madelyn Chandler.
Hi.
So, you're a part of the Undergraduate Research Conference, I hear?
Yes,
Um,
I am.
How do you feel about that?
I'm actually really excited. This is my first time being in the undergraduate research project, and so I'm just really excited to be able to be a part of it and stuff.
First time.
Yes.
That's amazing. What's your research going to be about?
So me alongside one of my other researchers, Nico, we are doing the like a research paper on interracial relationships and their political affiliation. And it's going to be based in sociology. So.
That's awesome. That's really specific. What inspired you with going through with this?
I was going to say, so it kind of happened the beginning of last semester. It was me, him, and one of our professors that we both had, Dr. Miller. We were all kind of discussing that we wanted to do some sort of research project and like really interested in just like interracial relationships just as a whole. And then the more that we kind of explore the topic and stuff like that, we discovered that in 2022, the Respect for Marriages Act, that got called into question, which was passed in 2015. 2015, and that actually protects interracial marriages. And so we were just really interested to see how different people in interracial marriages vote and their voting patterns and stuff.
It's a really intricate idea. What, I guess, is the biggest interest surrounding your research so far?
I think one of the biggest fascinating things is one, finding the patterns, but also interracial relationships in general are one of the fastest growing population or marriages and stuff like that, but they also are one of the most under-researched areas. And so it's really, really fascinating to be able to kind of start kind of like bridging the gap in between the literature. And I think that's been, one of the most rewarding processes over everything.
Would you say that you got all the help that you received so far in your research? Is there some things that you see lacking?
I was going to say, I think from Nico and Dr. Miller, I think that they have been amazing support people, and this paper would not be anywhere near complete without them. And so I am really, really happy that we have the support from them and just kind of the continued process, because it's been a very long process, but it is exciting, and different things like that. I don't think there's necessarily anything lacking. I think just, not having much beforehand literature can be a little bit of an issue sometimes, simply because we don't have much to go on, but that also means that we have more areas to explore, and just more areas to kind of go about and stuff like that.
I see. What would you say to a student who's maybe thinking about going through the Undergraduate Research Conference, presenting some research that they have, but maybe they just don't feel confident in what they found already, or maybe just don't know where to start?
I think it's that if you're trying to find a place to start, I think that if you have an idea, write it down and then get feedback from people, because when we started this paper, it was completely different than what we ended up with, and it's been a really rewarding process, but it wouldn't be the same paper if we didn't get feedback from other people and just didn't collaborate on ideas just with the three of us as well. So I think that making an effort to talk to people and get other people's ideas can be a really good way to branch out and kind of put that stepping stones in. And you also never know who would be willing to help you, who might kind of lend support in that kind of avenue. And then if you have some sort of research that you've already kind of done, I would just say to submit it. The worst thing that you're going to get is a no, and then you can always reapply next year or kind of figure out different things that you can tweak out or that kind of tweak. And so that way maybe next application period you would either be accepted and stuff, because I don't know, I tend to look at like rejection as this kind of like a deviation, or like that's not the correct path for you, but then, you know, over time like the correct path is going to present itself essentially. But if you don't at least try, then you won't open that door no matter what.
For sure. You mentioned there is a lot of, I guess, tweaking, and how when you start, it's not necessarily how it looks later on. So what is in that tweaking process, I guess?
It's a lot of rewriting. I will definitely say that. It's a lot of rewriting, a lot of going back into different research. You think that like once you have the literature review done, you never have to look at it ever again. And that is not the case. It is definitely just, even now, like as we're like finishing up, I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is a connection that I read a research paper in like last week and I didn't even think about it and stuff, to mention it in the paper. And so I think it's just a lot of rewriting and just being patient and just like not being so locked in on one specific idea and kind of allowing the paper to kind of take a shape of its own. And I think kind of having that freedom to allow it to move throughout the things or throughout what you find, just like what's already done, but also this in your paper, I think is going to be like the best process essentially for it. But yeah.
Was it through like a class or just initial research that you done for something else that I guess started your journey?
So when we first approached the topic, it was me and Nico did one of the directed research classes with Dr. Miller in the fall semester, and we got like the portion of it completed. However, when we were like kind of finishing up that class, we were like, there's so much more to this paper that we could have added if we have a little bit more time. And so that's why we continue to do it well into this spring semester, and kind of like adjust it and like tweak it out a little bit. But yeah, I was gonna say, so it started off as us getting like kind of class credit, kind of like how sometimes people will do like intern classes and stuff like that, and then it transitions into just like an independent kind of research.
That's
project.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you so much.
I was gonna say, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and yeah.
But yeah, okay, thank you.
They all have to have It's actually very good. It really is. And it's good.
Hi there, what can I get you?
Can I have a 90 degrees Celsius half froth goat milk cafe a la with two risotto, decaf espresso shots mixed in, freshly ground order, half temp?
Okay, and the temperature of that, our espresso machine, it's pretty like regulated. I can't make it any hotter. Is that okay for you?
What's the normal temperature?
I've never tested it. For milks, we only have oat, soy, almonds, coconut milk, and whole or skim milk. Which one of those would be good for you?
Just give me real milk, please.
So our sizes are going to be small, which is the 12 ounce, or the large, which is 24 ounces. Which one of those would be good for you?
24 ounces.
24 ounces. Alrighty, let me ring you up for that. That'll be $7 USD.
Tonight, our second guest is going to be Sophia McGreggor, another participant in the USF Undergraduate Research Conference. Welcome, Sophia.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So, I know you're a participant in the research conference. What exactly is your research about?
So my research centers around covert CIA operations during the Cold War in Italy. So I read declassified CIA documents and I basically look at them to try to understand what we were doing in Italy at that time. So I study specifically the Truman administration, so that kind of era. And I look at specifically declassified documents from the Psychological Strategy Board, which basically deliberates over psychological warfare, things like propaganda, things like elections, and that kind of foreign interference.
Oh wow, and what got you into that?
So I'm a double major in history and poli-sci, and I took a lot of Bacardi's classes. If you're a poli-sci major, you definitely know him, but he has a really cool class on the intelligence community and the CIA, and I got really into that, and I basically asked him if I could do any sort of research regarding it.
So is Bacardi the mentor you have for your project?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And I saw that you love traveling. Did that have any play in your choice of?
Yes, I mean, I actually did study abroad in Italy.
Oh, wow.
I asked him if I could do any sort of research, anything regarding declassified documents, and he said, I'm working on Italy. And I was like, score, I love Italy. But yeah.
So he helped you a lot with getting the actual topic?
Yes, so he gave me the topic, he referred to me all the different books I would need, and he gave me this like giant mega folder of documents, like hundreds and hundreds of documents that I could go through and, you know, make whatever with.
And what was that research like?
It's a really interesting process. So I like reading declassified CIA documents because it's like you get to read the gossip of the United States government, which is always very entertaining. Because, you know, you'll have a bunch of lines about, oh, we're gonna rig this election, we're gonna put propaganda here, also I want the bigger office. The CIA is really entertaining, but it's also kind of cool to know what goes on in the government and what our spies have done and what our intelligence officials are up to.
Yeah, wow. That is crazy. So what is the process of the declassifying of those documents?
So I'm not directly involved in that. That's more Dr.
Yeah.
Bacardi, but there's something called FOIA, or the Freedom of Information Act, where you can basically FOIA and ask for a document to be declassified. And then the government also occasionally will declassify documents over time as well.
Is this your first time in the Undergraduate Research Conference?
Yes.
Okay. And are you excited to be showing your work?
Yeah, very.
When did you start this?
So this has been a project this semester. I'm doing the individual research as like class credit. So this has just been a this semester project, but it's one I've really enjoyed working on.
Would you consider going back to Italy?
Oh yeah,
again?
for sure. I love Italy.
Do you speak Italian?
No, I do have a 490-day Duolingo streak as of today.
Okay.
I can maybe get around in a restaurant. So.
I took 7 years of Spanish and I still can't speak a lick of it, so
Yeah,
I understand.
possible.
Oh my god. Well, that is honestly kind of crazy. You're okay. Well, thank you so much for coming, Sophia.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm really glad you came.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They all have to answer this.
What are you drinking?
Water.
Hydrogen 2 oxygen?
It's just water from inside.
I just came from Kawa, and it's like I'm the only person here that understands science. Like, they didn't even know what I wanted.
Same thing happened to me.
Really?
Yeah. I asked for it to be 150 degrees Celsius.
How do you not have a thermometer on site?
I know, right? Like, everyone should be carrying that.
And then they didn't even have a thing to check the temperature.
They didn't.
It's crazy.
I ended up with water because of that.
Astounding.
I know.
Absurd.
I'm not giving my money to people who have no brain.
Clock it. Wow, it's so good to hear another fellow lover of science. I'm doing research for the Undergraduate Research Conference. Would you like to hear about it?
course.
Hi. Well,
Hello.
now we're going to be trying the tea of the day. Today is sweet berry hibiscus tea.
Yeah.
You want to pour it? I'm a little
Sure.
clumsy.
Don't worry, I got you. I got some flimsy hands, but it's all right. The tea won't be flimsy, you know.
No.
Looks very colorful.
It does. It's definitely giving you sweet berry. Now, I'm pretty sure this is from Kawa.
Yep.
Okay, sponsorship.
It's not sponsored, but we do have it on the napkins. For legal purposes, it's not sponsored. So, yeah. Let's give it a sip.
Okay.
Thoughts? What do you think about it?
I definitely get the berry from it. Now, I'm still not really a tea drinker, but
If I wasn't a tea drinker and I drink this, it would make me a tea
you're
drinker.
hooked onto tea with this.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting. It kind of has like the flavor profile of a Gatorade, I'm not even gonna lie.
I know. It's like if Gatorade made a tea.
My sophisticated palate here.
Is very, very. I want to make a delicious joke.
It's
you know?
very delicious.
Very delicious. Yeah.
Now, event-wise, upcoming, there's going to be the art gallery in the Pointer Library here on campus. Have you heard about it?
No, I hadn't.
It's going to be this month, and they are going to be putting up art from students. So be sure to go to that.
I'm gonna go to that. I just hope everybody else goes to it. You know.
Have you noticed anything on campus? Anything new?
I do notice actually another thing going in the library next week, an event about AI and journalism.
Okay.
So it's very interesting. I heard about it maybe a couple days ago, but I saw it today on Instagram from their page, and I was like, wow, that's a pretty interesting event.
Well, that is our major. Well, that is your major, correct?
Don't worry, it is. Yeah.
Do you know more about it? Like, what it's incorporating? Like, AI?
It's regarding like a book that someone wrote. So they're going to be inviting this doctor onto campus in the library, and he wrote a book about the topic of AI and journalism. He's going to be basically presenting it over there. Pretty sure it should be in the library corner, but yeah, it's being hosted in Nelson Pointer Memorial Library.
And what are
it'll
your
be there.
thoughts on AI and journalism?
I think it's very cool, very innovative, almost as innovative as the ideas that we heard today from our guest.
Those were some crazy topics, honestly.
But very interesting.
interesting.
You could tell they put a lot of work into their research, and I mean the one takeaway that I got from my guests that I had on, what we had today, is that she started off very early in her research, and it's kind of like once you start, that's not going to look like how it is at the end. You know, it's going to look very different. You're going to have to make a lot of tweaks, but getting started as early as possible in your research, topics, ideas for the Undergraduate Research Conference, I think it's very important. Yeah.
But it goes to show the different amounts of times people are working on these research projects that we're going to be seeing at the Undergraduate Research Conference. Sophia's she just started this semester, and your girl, Madelyn, she started it about 2 years ago. So really, there's different amounts of time that go into it.
Very interesting.
Very interesting indeed.
All right. Well, that's about the time that we have on this show. So thank you for watching. And this is
Tea and Theories. Make sure to follow us at Tea and Theories USF on Instagram.
Yep. Stay tuned for more.
Stay tuned for more. Bye, everybody.
Go Bulls.